It's with great emotion that I stand before you today, because today is a very important day in the history of ICMR, in the history of metabolic NCDs, including diabetes in this country, because for the first time we are going to release the metabolic health NCD health report of the whole country. I don't think such a thing has ever been attempted, and I'm very happy to present the results to you shortly. Let me take this opportunity to welcome Dr. R.S. Dhaliwal, Scientist G and head of the NCD division of the Indian Council of Medical Research. They come all the way from Delhi for this event. Dr. Tanveer Kaur, who looks after the diabetes division of the NCD, Scientist G at the Indian Council of Medical Research. Both of them have been associated with this project right from its inception in the year 2008, and believe it or not, actually took us 15 years to complete the whole country. But now it's finally done, barring a few union territories and a few islands, which are now currently going on and about to be completed. But the whole mainland has now been, all the states in the country have been completed. I'd also like to welcome my good friend and colleague, Professor Ashok Kumar Das, who is the chairman of the expert committee of the ICMR for the ICMR in-depth study. He has been very much part of the study from the beginning, from the last 15 years. And he has also, along with Dr. Dhaliwal and Dr. Tanveer Kaur, visited almost every state where this study is going, where the study took place. Dr. Anjana is on the dais, and all of my colleagues from MDRF, a big welcome to you. A very special welcome to all the state PIs. We have 31 states, and all the state PIs are there in the Zoom call. It's very nice of them to all have joined for this momentous occasion when the final results of the ICMR in-depth study is going to be released. And very, very big warm welcome and thank you to all the PIs who are joined virtually. The press and media, this is a press event, and we want to present all the results of India's NCD health burden to the press and media. A lot of you I know have come in person, and an equal number have joined virtually from different parts of the country. We have people from the press and media in Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, and many other, Bangalore, and many other cities who are actually on this call, or on this Zoom call. So it's a very momentous occasion. I'll just take 5 minutes to explain to you what the study is all about, so that we all come on the same page. And then after that, I'll request Dr. Ashok Kumar Das to say a few words, and if Dr. Dhaliwal and Dr. Tanveer Kaur want to say something, they can do that. And then we'll go to the main presentation by Dr. Anjana, where she'll present all the details. There's some startling results to present to you. And many of you might be seeing this for the first time, including, because the paper was published literally this morning, at 5 o'clock this morning. It was published in Lancet Diabetes, so it's hot off the press, as you can say. And so let me start by talking a little bit about this ICMR India Diabetes Study, or in-depth study, which is funded by the Indian Council of Medical Research and the Department of Health Research. Now, you may say, why do such a big study all over India? Now, this is, I'm taking you back to 2008, when we started the in-depth study. These were some of the studies which were there in the literature. And if you see, 1972, 50 years ago, ICMR did a study of a multi-center study in India. Now you may say, what is the difference between that study and in-depth? There's no comparison. Because when Ahuja did this study in 1972, only 6 cities were studied. 6 cities all over India, and 1 village near those 6 cities. Of course, 50 years ago, that is a huge achievement to have thought of that, and the vision of doing a multi-center study, which Professor Ahuja did. But that is the only big ICMR study on a national level which was done 50 years ago. The difference between that study and this study is that Professor Ahuja selected 6 cities in India randomly, representing north, south and all that, and then selected 6 villages, literally 6 villages. Here, it's a representative sample of the whole state. To take Gujarat, whole of Punjab, whole of Nagaland, whole of Manipur, whole of Tamil Nadu, whole of Kerala, every state in India, top to bottom, east to west, north to south, we have picked every part of the state to do it. So that is one difference. Also, if you see, even by 2008, you see the urban prevalence slowly going up. Now these are all mostly cities. You say Chennai, and all that coming up there quite often. And in rural areas, we believe that the prevalence of diabetes is very low at that time. So what we did was, we said that there is no national data since that 1972 ICMR study. And the NUT study focused only on metro. The study which was done by Dr. Ramchandran, it studied only the big metros in India, Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai and so on, Mumbai and so on. And then there was another study done by called the PODIS study, which left out all the metros and looked at only small towns and villages. So there's no study which has actually done the whole thing, everything together, cities, small cities, 2-tier, second, third tier, and villages and so on. And all those studies only reported on diabetes. There's no data on pre-diabetes. It's very important because pre-diabetes only becomes diabetes later. Okay? So that was how in 2008, when we presented to ICMR and said, why don't we do a national study? And that is how the ICMR INDAB study was born. Now, when we proposed this to them, we actually thought we'll do one in north, one in south, one in east, one in west. But ICMR, in its wisdom, they said if you do that, it doesn't solve the purpose. You just choose one in the west and say, we'll choose Maharashtra. Then Gujarat will say, no, our data may be different from Maharashtra. If you select Kerala in the south, they'll say, Andhra will say, no, that is different, ours is different from Kerala. So they said it's a state subject. Health is a state subject. If you're doing it, you better do it properly. You do every state in the country. Now that changed the whole equation because in the whole world, believe it, ladies and gentlemen, in the whole world, no country has attempted it. US is not attempted it. Canada is not attempted it. China is not attempted it. To do the whole country, state by state by state, they all do patchy work. OSDAP studies 6 places in Australia, here, there, they pick 5, 6 places and they'll do that. Even the Chinese studies, the biggest Chinese study was 40,000 people. That was 5, 6 places in China. This is 113,000 people, representative of 1.4 billion people in India. Totally a representative study. Such a study has never been done in the world. And that is how INDAB addresses all this. Now we have, very lucky to have an ICMR expert group led by Professor A.K. Das, who is very much here as a chairperson. Dr. Nikhil Tandon, who is a member who is attending this call, is also the PI for Delhi along with Dr. Madhu. And then we have Dr. Rajesh Kumar, Dr. Mahanta, Dr. R.M. Pandey, Dr. Lakshmi. Some of them are probably on this call. And of course, the ICMR Secretariat is Dr. Daliwal and Dr. Tanvirkar, who has been there from the beginning, and both of them are actually in this hall today. And a big thanks to DG ICMR because
so this is a culmination of 15 years of work where you saw numerous people involved, support from the ICMR, and a whole lot of people have put their strength and might into this to produce the results that we have today. So let's move on directly to the diabetes burden first. What is the national prevalence of diabetes in India? It is 11.4%. The urban prevalence is 16.4 and rural is 8.9. Now this has been done through OGTTs, which are glucose tolerance tests, capillary OGTTs done in about 113,000 individuals. That's 1,13,000 individuals done from nook and corner of the country. However, there are also internationally other methods of diagnosing diabetes. Those are through the A1C and other methods. So we also have prevalences that is done through the A1C criteria, the HbA1c, and a combination of the OGTT and A1C. Now in our country, the best method is the OGTT. Accepted method by the RSSDI and other national guidelines is the OGTT, and hence we have used that method for all estimations of burden calculations. However, if you use the A1C criteria, the prevalence goes up to 13%, and if you combine criteria, we have a combined national prevalence of 21.1%. So globally, these various criteria people look at. Now shown here are maps of the country. So this is urban India, This is rural India. This is overall together. So here we have color-coded maps. Up to 5% prevalence is shown in green, and up to 7.4 is in yellow, up to about 10 is in orange, and above 10 becomes red. So if you look at urban India, this is diabetes prevalence. Almost the whole country is showing high prevalence of diabetes. This is urban India. If you go to rural, there's more heterogeneity. You'll see that higher prevalence in mostly in the south, some parts of the north as well, with lower prevalence in the east and some of the central parts of India. Now if you combine that, look at the prevalence, diabetes prevalence highest in the south. All the south states are in red, and of course we have Punjab, Uttarakhand, Delhi, etc. also in red with yellows here. So this is the diabetes prevalence. If you want a state-wise prevalence here, it goes from the lowest here, 4.8% in Uttar Pradesh, to 26.4% in Goa, and I see the PI, Dr. Ankush Desai, also on this call. So yes, so you see this wide heterogeneity. India is diverse in everything, so naturally even the diabetes prevalence has huge heterogeneity.
நம்ம நாட்டில் வந்து 65% to 70% carbohydrate எடுத்துக்கிறோம், மாவு சத்து. If that can be brought down by just 10%, and if you can increase protein, plant protein by 10%, that 10% you replace. You take more Bengal gram, green gram, black gram, plant-based protein, and cut down the amount of rice or wheat that we take. That itself is enough to prevent diabetes. Entire study we published 3 months ago, okay, or 6 months ago. So it is not very difficult. If we change, and we don't need a dietitian in every village to talk to every diabetic patient. If we are able to, through social media and through media, it's your role as media. If you say we're eating too much carbs, you cut down the carbs. For a plate don't fill all your plate with rice and sambar, rice and rasam, rice and curd, rice and this. You take vegetables half. Quarter plate you take protein, non-veg protein, vegetable protein, water. Upon quarter plate matram you take 1 chapati, little bit of rice. And the மாதிரி சாப்பிட்டீங்கன்னா pre-diabetes can become normal, complete normal. Do you have evidence for that? Yes, you have evidence for that. So it's so simple. Plus you must do exercise. அப்புறம் கொஞ்சம் யோகா, பிராணாயாமம் எல்லாம் பண்ணி you reduce your stress also, you can definitely prevent. So it's not as difficult as we think. Only thing is people must do it in a sustained manner. சும்மா 2 நாள் பண்ணிட்டு ஒரு வாரம் பண்ணிட்டு அப்புறம் விட்டுட்டா no use. You must continuously do it. Yes, we heard somebody here asking